win the award for the worst possible setting in which to start recording. Because I just started my washing machine and also my dishwasher. Also, we are having a blizzard and it is April. It is April 5th, it is Wednesday, and I'm starting Camp Nano today. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, doesn't that start on April 1st? Yes. In order to make life a little more livable, I have a few things that I don't do, and that is write on Mondays. I know, it's weird. It's weird. There's this concept over on the Tick of the Talk. I'm on like corporate millennial TikTok for some reason, where there's like a bare minimum Monday where you take Monday and you give yourself a lot of grace on Mondays because for some reason they're just harder than all the other days. Mondays I just try to read and relax and do other things, but then like a blizzard hit. So now I think I'm literally gonna be trapped in my house. But okay, I think people might be overhyping the blizzard. It looks fine. We're just gonna pretend it's like a cozy winter retreat, which I did go on like 2 weeks ago. But that was the last time I really touched my book. And if you remember the end of that, I was like, oh yeah, Camp Nano, that'll be great. Like I'll just like rewrite my entire novel in a month. Like, whoa. She was misled. It's about 1 o'clock. I just did so much cleaning. I've been telling myself that I'm gonna deep clean for like 2 weeks now, and I finally just like did it. I don't know what motivated or inspired me to do it. Oh, I know what it was. I knew that the next thing I had to do was write, and so I cleaned instead. When you're avoiding a project and you're just like, you know what if I cleaned my entire house? It's just hard because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. No one tells you what you're supposed to do. I mean, okay, there's a lot of advice here on this little app that you're on currently. There's also a lot of advice in a lot of books and a lot of online resources of like what to do after you write your first draft, or how to draft, or how many drafts you should have, or how much you should write, or how much, like, should you just give it to other people right away, or should you rewrite the whole thing? Like, there's a lot of advice from a lot of places, but it's not like a normal profession where you have a boss. It's also not really a profession yet. Like most things, there's a process, right? You're gonna do baking? Okay, follow these instructions and then eat it and then clean up the dishes and then you're done. Like that's how it goes. And with writing, that's also true, but there's no one that's like, hey, okay, you finished the draft, awesome, here's the next thing to do. You just have to kind of find what other people have said, what other institutions have said, and decide like, maybe that'll work for my book, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll take me off course, throw off my progress and write a draft that doesn't make sense and all this stuff. But I hope that doesn't happen. But I finished draft 1, I read through the book, I took some notes, I know generally what needs to be fixed. Okay, do I just write that? But what happened with my first book was I wrote a draft which was about 70,000 words, and then the next draft I wrote was like 140,000 words. And then my final draft ended up being 80,000 words. But in the process of adding way too much information, like I got to the part that I actually wanted, but then I had to cut so much from that, which is fine. But I'm just like, I don't really want to overwrite my second draft, I guess. But I also want to find the story. But I feel like I actually did find the story the first draft around this time. Oh, am I supposed to like actually go right now? That was, okay. It's only been an hour. And I've been so productive. Sometimes you just gotta do the work, frankly. One could argue all the time. So I just wrote about a 2-page summary of my book, and it was actually pretty helpful in identifying like there were things where I got to the end and I was like, oh, I didn't even mention that. Actually something really important that I need to focus on in the next draft for everything to make sense. Because I got to the ending and I was thinking like, where did we go? You know, you gotta go somewhere. Emotionally, mentally, there has to be some sort of journey that happens. And I'm like, well, the plot went places, but like, where did the characters go? And there is an answer, but I didn't include any of the things that are important for that to happen. So it was good to identify. not. Some people think you don't need to have a theme, and I like somewhat agree with that. Like, I don't think it's required for a book to have a theme. I always think that a good book doesn't necessarily give you all of the answers, but it makes you ask the right questions. So what questions is the book asking you? And then from there, the next steps are to write out the weaknesses and strengths, which I did a little bit of, and then write out all the major characters and describe them, which actually I definitely need to do. I fleshed out character descriptions and backstories for like my 3 main people. And everybody else just kind of found their way as we went along. Okay, enough talking, let's work. So my toxic trait is having one evening plan and thinking that that means I can't be productive for the whole day. But we're gonna fight against that negative mindset. It's like 2 o'clock. It's the next day. Did I clarify that? It's the next day. There's this line that I walk that is like, I don't want to burn myself out, but I also would like to be productive. It's like, where's the line between the rest and the laziness? Turns out I needed to figure out who all my characters were and list them all and who they are and what they're doing and how their lives are and where their character arcs are going, because apparently I need to know that. But with all these little checklist items, I'm always like, well, why do I need to do that? And then I do it and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go scene by scene through the book again. Shouldn't take as long because I recently did a whole reread, and I'm gonna take the notes that I wrote in my red pen edits. I heard someone say that phrase and I like it, so I'm gonna use it. I don't know what they really use it as, but I like the idea of that. I actually used a black pen, but I'm gonna call it red pen edits because it's like tangible edits on the page. And then I'm going to write out per chapter the revision guide. So all the things I need to change in each chapter. And then the day will probably be done. But after that, and then I can just start rewriting. It feels like a day that I need to like get my little whiteboard out, draw some stuff up. I've had ChatGPT generating some things for me, for my brain. List me this type of conflict, and it did, but they weren't specific enough. I initially wanted to bring the mob into it, but then I was like, I don't really like when books bring the mob into things. There always seems to be some sort of red herring in thrillers and the mob was involved. Okay, seems like kind of a cop-out. So we're gonna get the whiteboard out. The notes over here are not about a book. My friend Janelle and I got really angry at the most recent Keeper of the Lost Cities book. We decided to have a girls' night where we analyzed every book and the plots of every book and like came up with a plot summary for the last book so she could just finish the series already. I might just use this little whiteboard. That has spoilers on it, so don't look at that. What are you doing? I was just at a coffee shop and I had so much productivity, it was excellent. I think I found a new coffee shop. I go through this thing where it's like when I'm productive somewhere one time, like I just go there forever. But then when I'm unproductive there one time, it's out the window. So I had one that I went to for a long time and then I had a really unproductive day there and then I just haven't been back since. So yes, I have started going chapter by chapter, reading the notes that I took, also just reading the scene again, and then reading my general overall notes to see if there's anything I need to plug into that specific chapter. And I got almost to the end of Act 1. I feel like I actually know what I'm doing now, like there's actually a path in front of me. So today I have some reading to do. It's Good Friday, so I gotta go to church. Hopefully I'll write some more. No, I will write some more. I don't know what this means for like my Camp Nano goals. I know that it's important to have goals that you want to work towards, like that's the whole point of camp, but I don't know what my goal is. When I think about what I want it to be, I just want it to be like I make progress, but that's not a goal. So I am doing a lot of things right now, and I want to be consistent in all of those things. After next week, when I really start writing through it, how long it takes me, because I know I had initially said I want to like finish a whole draft of this book, but I'll see, like if I can get through an act a week, there's essentially 3 weeks left, right? Yes, 3 weeks left. So that if I can get through an act a week, that seems like it should be reasonable, but I'm not gonna be mad if I don't hit that though. I really just want to be consistently writing through it and feeling good about it, because my hopeful goal is after this draft, I'm gonna do a quick pass for little copy edit things, not a full in-depth copy edit. I do that when I'm fully done, but just so that it's readable for a beta reader so that they're not distracted by the grammar or the sentence structure or anything like that. And I also need to figure out who my beta readers are gonna be, because I have a couple of people in my life who I have beta read for me, but it's not really fair to just be like, hey, can you get this whole book read in a month and get feedback back to me, even though you're like living a life? I've been looking on like Fiverr and other places. If you get beta readers from people that you don't know in your life and you have a good resource for that, drop them all. Drop them all in that comment section, because I've never really done that. I've just had people I know beta read for me. All right, catch you later.